I mean, it's an incredible story of them developing leadership, them really stepping into their power, and then now running and owning their own park in what we think is a really historic win. Shady Lakes is a mobile home park that is now named Comunidad Nuevo Lago. The community in Shady Lakes is almost entirely Oaxacan indigenous community from one town in Oaxaca, Mexico. And it's a very tight-knit community with significant family ties between the community. Their mobile home park owner had sold the mobile home park to a new company, which was a mom and pop selling it to a corporation. And that new company very quickly began to increase the rent significantly and to implement rules and regulations in the park that were inconsistent with the history in the park and really with the culture of the folks that were living there. So very quickly our involvement went from investigating a water quality issue to addressing these other issues, as well as some habitability concerns. The major thing there was that there was a on-site wastewater facility that was creating a really bad odor that impacted the entire park, prevented residents from going outside or their kids playing outside or things of that nature. We assisted them in forming a community group. That's one of the things that we do as part of our community development work. The community group was our clients. They made decisions about how they wanted to do decision making, and we helped them file the litigation. The litigation was grueling. It ultimately took about 5 years, beginning to end. Throughout that process, our community worker here in the Fresno office continued having and building relationships with the residents on an individual basis. And so even though the attorneys throughout this process, and we co-counseled in this case with the Western Center on Law and Poverty and with Morrison Foerster, who provided incredible support and litigation skills. Although the attorneys were busy fighting the lawsuit, our community worker was working every day with families to provide everyday support. And over time, what we saw was as the issues in the community progressed and the community became more destabilized in their daily lives, the destabilization in the community actually led them to be more united and to be more vocal about what was going on with them. They started engaging with their local representatives. They started talking to the media about what they were experiencing, all the while participating in the lawsuit. Ultimately, the residents were able to take advantage of various state funds that exist pretty much for this purpose to buy the park themselves as a cooperative. We helped them untangle that process so that they could fully participate in it, and so that their partnerships with the University of California, Irvine, whose attorneys represented them in the real estate transaction, and their relationship with Center for Cooperative Development was more successful because they had these types of expertise that were really essential for making this successful. But CRLA is the one that had these long-standing, very deep, years-long relationships with the residents. And they knew that they could trust us. They knew that we had been there for them and we were not going anywhere. So the residents formed a cooperative and went through that entire process of electing a board of directors, developing rules, hiring property managers, all the things that go into running a mobile home park, and actually purchased that park for themselves from that corporate owner. So now those residents live in a park that has affordable rent, that is required to remain affordable into the future. So it's permanent access to affordable housing, and it's taken off the private market. And those residents are able to maintain their community, all of those families together, and be united, have stability, have a future for their children moving forward, and they own their own park. I mean, it's an incredible story of them developing leadership, them really stepping into their power, and then now running and owning their own park in what we think is a really historic win. We have never seen anything of this kind before.